Hey guys, how's it going? Mark here from Labyrinth Studios, back again finally on the channel making a video. I appreciate all of you who have stuck around on the channel. I know it's been a while. When I first started making videos on this channel, we were in the first of the lockdowns. Making videos was really sort of a creative outlet for me. Yeah, it allowed me to keep myself feeling productive and keep my mind busy and, you know, not just sit around playing video games all day long. Watching Netflix and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, we were all in that boat, and I think we all found sort of creative outlets and things we could do to stimulate ourselves and keep ourselves busy and our minds occupied. When it came to starting the studio with my business partner Max, as we were coming out of the lockdowns, I managed to keep up with the videos for a fair while and keep a relative schedule to it, putting out, you know, a video or two a week. But yeah, ultimately, you know, we're like 10 months in now to the studio business, so it's still quite early days, and there's been a lot to learn, a lot to contend with, a lot of growing, a lot of fun, but also a lot of stress. And it's been a real journey and a real adventure, and I'm loving it. It's great. When you reach a point when you're trying to juggle too many things, something has to give at some point. And for me, making videos, I didn't want to be making them if, you know, there was no point if I was just going to be making them for the sake of it and stressing myself and overworking myself trying to keep to a schedule with it and all that stuff. So, you know, I just figured I'd take a break from it. Hopefully, you know, when it came to coming back and making some videos again, I could enjoy it and have more time to do it, hopefully. But anyway, I thought I would come back and try and make a video. Yeah, show you guys what we've been up to here in the studio, because quite a bit has changed over the last however many months, and we're in the new year now, and we've done quite a lot recently, particularly with the whole control room setup. I just wanted to give you guys a little tour and stick to that for this video. I might come back with some reaction videos at some point. I think primarily probably going to be focused on just putting studio based videos out. Who knows, we'll see. But yeah, thanks to those of you who stuck around, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, all of that good stuff. So in the control room now, we have completely upgraded our whole live streaming setup. We were running it on a PC rig. Unfortunately, that computer died. So we looked at, you know, we thought, well, if we're going to buy a new computer, it's worth upgrading to something better, something more future-proof. And we kind of looked at the cost of building a custom PC rig versus getting something like one of the new M1 Mac Minis. Yeah, it worked out more cost effective, or around about the same price, getting an M1 Mac Mini, but we didn't have to build anything. We could kind of plug it in and would be ready to go again. Obviously it's never as simple as that, and there was still a fair amount of recabling, resetting things up. And yeah, we built a little unit, a little console style unit with a touchscreen, which is really cool. We upgraded our A10 Mini, our Blackmagic A10 Mini, to the A10 Mini Pro ISO. The main reason for this was we found that when we were doing stuff like live streams, a lot of people would ask if they could have the video footage afterwards. With the A10 Mini, you only get the program output, so basically all the cuts that you've done live, so you get it all as one video file, the same output that would be going out to OBS, which is what we live stream from. We wanted to be able to take all the raw footage, all the individual camera inputs, and record all of those separately at the same time as live streaming. The A10 Mini Pro ISO allows us to do that. All 4 camera inputs, we can have all the video separately afterwards, but it also gives you a DaVinci Resolve project file, so it will give you all the cuts that you have done live on your program output, but also all the raw video files. But yeah, so you can go in and re-edit the cut that you did do live on the live stream, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, it gives a lot of flexibility, a lot of options there. It also means when we were doing video sessions, for video sessions we were just recording to SD cards on the cameras, which ended up being quite impractical. You know, if we were filming a live session in the control room but recording audio obviously for it being here in the control room, in between every take or every other take we'd have to go into the live room, stop the cameras, and then start the cameras again to record another take. And you know, you're always sort of worrying about, okay, we've been recording for this long, got to go in, change the SD cards. Instead, now we can record through the A10 Mini Pro ISO, and we've got a Samsung T5 SSD, super fast SSD, 2 terabytes of storage, so we can record for I think like 8 or 10 hours continuously without any hiccups. So that's perfect for us. It works great. So yeah, we're really happy with the whole new live streaming rig we've got. Pretty pleased with the little console style unit that we built. Above the touchscreen, we've got a little monitor for our preview output from the A10 Mini Pro ISO. So yeah, it shows you multi-view, and you can see your program and preview output, and then all your individual camera inputs. Also monitoring for the audio and the streaming if you're streaming direct off the A10, and the ISO recordings as well. So it allows us to keep track of all of that at a glance, which is really cool. The other big change we had was with the whole desk setup for audio. That was a desk that I built many years ago, so it came with me from my home studio, and it was centered around 3 Icon QCon control surfaces, the main unit and 2 of the extender units, which gave you 24 faders of tactile control, and you could do, you know, you had transport control. You could control plugins from it, but it was a little bit ropey. The integration was never great with Pro Tools. Ultimately, the biggest thing I find with control surfaces is you end up with multiple functions that can kind of be controlled by one thing. So you're switching between a lot of like layers and different button functions and stuff. So it creates a bit of a disconnect between you and what you're controlling in the software. Also, often ends up taking longer than just using a mouse and keyboard. So as sort of cool as it can be, seeing all these control surfaces in front of you and having some tactile fader control, it often ends up not being that practical. And ultimately, you know, when you're doing stuff professionally as well, and when you're running a recording session, or even when you're mixing, you know, you need to think about time and how long things are taking. It just ended up not being that practical for us. So instead, we looked at touchscreen options as a means of something that was a bit more interactive, a bit more sort of creatively inspiring, more hands-on than a keyboard and mouse. But you know, you don't have that disconnect with a control surface, because with touchscreens you're directly interacting with the software. And of course there's the SLATE Raven, which is a great product, and it's not too expensive for what it is. I think you can get one of the SLATE Raven units for around £500–600, which really is not bad, especially when it's a kind of out-of-the-box solution. So you set it up, install the software, and everything just works. But for us, we needed something a bit cheaper, basically, to fit into our budget. We looked at other options, just buying third-party, or not third-party, but, you know, just regular touchscreens, basically. Then we kind of figured, we looked at touchscreen overlays, using the monitors that we already had. We have a dual screen setup. So, yeah, we bought some touchscreen overlays, 24-inch touchscreen overlays, from AliExpress, from China. And yeah, I mean, I think it cost us about £120–130 for 2 of these touchscreen overlays. And then there is software similar to the SLATE Raven software. It's very similar in its functions, has the same sort of transport control overlay, fader overlays, and all the macro features, which are really cool. So you can custom assign loads of sort of shortcuts and macro functions, basically. This software is called Dtouch. I forget the name of the company, but the company that make it, they do Dtouch for all the major DAWs, so Pro Tools, Cubase, Logic, and so on. So we, obviously being Pro Tools users, we went with the Pro Tools version. We're still sort of trialing it at the moment, so we've not taken the plunge and bought a license yet. We're sort of, at the moment, January, February are going to be quite quiet months, so we're just sort of holding off on extra expenses. But we're trying out the demo, which is feature limited, like you only get 6 active faders that you can control. Yeah, we're really liking it so far. We're definitely going to take the plunge, I think, on getting a license. But yeah, the new setup is really cool. We've integrated the touchscreens at a nice angle into the desk, so we actually lowered the desk. It's shallower than it was, also taller on the top surface. We had to cut new pieces, side pieces, to sort of fit the contours of the screens. And then the other thing, the main thing that we wanted, was all our rack mounted gear, all our patch bays and our preamps and outboard were all underneath the desk. Ended up being a bit annoying because you were sort of, you know, when you were tracking and adjusting gains and so on your preamps, you would sort of have to duck underneath the desk, adjust something, stick your head up, hear how it sounded. So instead we've integrated an angled slanted rack into the side of the desk, or the top surface of the desk on the side to the right of the screens, and yeah, that's been working loads better. It's really nice having your preamps just right there, and our patch bays as well. Everything's more to hand. We've still got the rack underneath for some of the stuff that we don't, you know, sort of need to be adjusting regularly, like one of our Behringer X32 S16 stage boxes, that's under there, our headphone amp, stuff like that, but we don't need to be tweaking constantly. The new desk setup is definitely a lot better. So yeah, that's been a great improvement to the control room. We've improved the lighting in the live room, basically just replaced all the bulbs with a better color temperature, because all the bulbs, they were LEDs but they were tungsten, so we've replaced them all with brighter daylight color temperature bulbs. So in terms of video and photos, everything is looking a lot better in there. It also just feels nicer in the room. We now have a Behringer X Air for the practice room setup in the live room. We had a Behringer X Air in our other main practice room, and that was working great. We had that with a little Android touchscreen tablet setup, controlling the app for the X Air. We were using the X32 running through a Cat5 feed into the live room, so the X32 we have in the control room, we were using that with an Android tablet in the live room for practices. So similar to how we were using the X Air, it worked fine for band practices using the X32 in the live room, but what it did mean was that if we wanted to be working on stuff in the control room, we couldn't do that. Or you could, I guess, you know, you could sort of be clever with your routing, route things to different buses or whatever, route the PA outputs in the live room to different outputs to the main outputs going to our monitors here in the control room. You know, you could find workarounds, but it really wasn't that practical for us, and you know, we just wanted things to be independent, so we got another X Air unit for the live room. I built a little unit to house all of that and the amps and everything else for that whole setup. Little improvements like making a little cymbal holder mounts on the wall in both the live room and the main practice room. A little drumstick holder on that unit that we built for the X Air setup in the live room. I think other than that, I could waffle on about more stuff. We did get a couple of fan organs. These fan organs, if any of you are fans of Daniel Johnston, he plays one of these old school fan organs on his very early recordings. So yeah, that's a very nostalgic sound for me, being a fan of his music and his early stuff in particular. They're really cool, and people come into the studio and they always want to know what they are and have a little fiddle. A fan organ basically is kind of self-explanatory. It has an electric fan, so you plug it into the wall and turn it on, and the fan comes on, and that blows air through the reeds that are inside, and when you press a key, obviously that alters, you know, the pitch and yeah, plays a note. So it's quite similar in how it works to the sound basically is the same as an accordion, or at least very similar to. They're pretty cool little things to have as just an interesting curiosity in the studio. We also got a piano in, although we're not sure what to do about that yet, because it does need a lot of work, kind of more work than we thought. We knew it needed tuning, but it's missing a lot of felts on the hammers, and some of the hammers are sticking quite a lot when you play keys are sticking. There's quite a few issues like that, and we're not really sure whether it's going to be worth spending the money it will take to have it fixed up, as opposed to just getting in another piano that's in better condition. So yeah, we're not sure what we're going to do about that one yet. We've got in quite a few new amps as well, several guitar cabs, a really cool Carlsbro cab from a 4x12 from the 80s. It's very cool for sort of, you know, heavy rock, metal and that kind of stuff. A Marshall cab and head as well, a 1960 cab, a limited edition one. I forget what the head is now, but yeah, great sounding amp, really good for indie rock kind of stuff in particular. Yeah, a few other amps and stuff we picked up. Oh yeah, we decorated. We did a lot of decorating in the main sort of chill out communal area, so that's looking particularly nice. We also built an extra wall there sort of leading into the live room, so that's going to act almost as like a little sort of storage area before you go into the live room. We're probably going to build shelves to house the microphones on, and maybe some mic stands and cables and stuff like that. We'll also act as kind of an extra layer of soundproofing, even though it's not isolated. The live room is a room within a room, floating room. This isn't, so it is coupled to the main structure, so you know, it's only going to be relatively effective with soundproofing. And at some point we still need to pick up a heavy duty fire door, fourth door for that. It should offer a little bit of extra isolation, which will be nice. Anyway, yeah, that is about it. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing what we've been up to in the studio, and hopefully I'll be back again soon with another video for you all. In the meantime, hope you are all staying well and safe, and I hope you all had a great New Year and Christmas, and I will see you guys again soon. Right, bye for now.